It's a lovely spring day. The river's flowing, the birds are out, everything is green. How is it in your neck of the woods? This is what the story say, and I will go talk story. Hello and welcome. I just showed you the spring weather outside. It's beautiful, a little bit chilly, but very nice. Winter is officially over, very over. So today, I want to bring you more nursery rhymes, as someone asked me to do. Last time we talked about Jack. Well, let's see what we got today. All right, so for those of you who don't know, I am Guyanese, and I'm from Guyana, South America, part of the Caribbean, and I'm a Buxtonian Guyanese. I say I'm a cultural bearer because I tell stories of my culture, Guyanese culture, village culture, our families' histories, our whispered stories, our practice, hidden and sometimes long-lost traditions. And as we say in the village, what the story say? I come in, sit down, loud talk story. Now, in Guyana, we grew up with a literary tradition that is very, very British because the British was there. And in the early history of our education system, the British was there, okay? So we grew up with all the trappings of that tradition. And one of them is the nursery rhyme. They're very, very nostalgic. They remind me of play days, small days in school and so on. And one that I remember distinctly is Ring a Ring a Roses. Y'all remember that one? All right. So imagine little Pauline in the Anglican school yard in that sandy loam, that reddish dirt, more sand than dirt, under the kumaka tree with all my friends them. And so before school or after school or during recess or recreation, as we used to call it, playtime, playing time. When you see the bell ring for playing time, you go outside. And you're under the tree, the friends them, and you hold hand. And you're going around, a ring a roses, a pocket full of posies, a tissue. We all fall down, right? And then we would just fall down, like flap yourself down. And you lose hands, right? Them time, I hold by hand, you only girlfriend's hand. That's how young we were. We used to say nursery rhymes in not kindergarten. I didn't go to kindergarten. Primary school, the early grades, like Prep A and Prep B, what we used to call Little ABC and Big ABC. Maybe for standard 2. I don't remember. Yeah, I remember. I don't know if they do nursery rhymes now, but that's what we did. We learned them in school and we performed. So, as I recalled, my thinking was, a ring a rose is a pocket full of posies. Posies. The only posy I knew was the big old tenny. And then the bed, my grandma the bed. And my auntie them bed. And a posy is a big old cup. Like a humongous cup in our meal. And you're drinking from now. That is to do number 1 and number 2 in. To pee and poop. Nighttime. Yes. Because back in the day, we didn't have indoor plumbing. We had outdoor toilet or latrine or commode, whatever people calling it. And people never used to want to go out at night to do the thing. So they do it in this posy under the bed. So here I sing in a ring a rose, it's a packet full of posies. This thing never makes sense. Why your pocket get posy? But I didn't know then that posies were flowers, right? And that was what it was. Well, what's the meaning behind that? Well, I did a little bit of research. So every now and then I'll be looking here. I have my paper. So some people, let me give you the one that is most alien to me. It says that this thing was reminiscent of pagan rites or pagan rituals, where pagans would celebrate the passing of the seasons. And so they would meet somewhere and they would make a circle and dance around and celebrate fertility and the changing of the seasons, the rebirth of the spring and the flowers and all of that stuff. That's what they did. And this thing was celebration of that, right? So That makes some sense. People have their rituals, we get our own rituals when you get emancipation, you get the ganda, you got to go around the ganda, you sing, and so. Um, there's another meaning to this that caught my attention. They said that in the history of British Empire, they took their culture with them to all the English-speaking places, the current English-speaking places. So if you go to India, you will hear Indian people doing this, or it's in their tradition. That's where the British went. So it was just a way of exporting their culture and their traditions to foreign lands and indoctrinating other cultures or having other cultures assimilate their culture, right? You can be less British or more British if you know these things. This is to be very British is to know these rhymes, right? So there's that. So they say it's very innocent. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a rhyme they did for teaching language and teaching sounds and stuff like that. And I know that they did because, we would rhyme and learn the language, the English language. So that makes sense. He would agree. But there's this other part that caught my attention. This one says that in the 1500s, that's 16 something, 1665 to be precise, there was a huge plague in London. This plague killed out plenty people. It was devastating to the population. And we can understand that because we just had the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. So something like that. And this thing came and it run through the land. And a lot of people were just dropping. You see this, we all fall down, so then I fall down. And then the symptom was a tissue, they sneeze and fall down. So I tried to imagine what it looked like. So I went to agriculture school, for those of you who don't know, Guyana School of Agriculture. Hey up, Welch. And Candy and Claudine, we went to GSA. And there was a disease that used to affect chickens. They used to call it coccidiosis. Coccidiosis used to get a hold of these chickens, and when they get coccidiosis, because like a masquerade. Them chickens used to say just so and start to spin. And so them a spin wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong, perhaps them fall. Just so. Coccidiosis get them. So you have to call those chickens. Call me to take them out and you finish them off. Right? So I imagine that this plague must used to get people around in circle. And then they must sneeze and then drop just so, perhaps and dead. At least in COVID time, people not spin. But this one, yeah. And this pocket full of posies, I hear they say, this pocket full of posies, these flowers, was supposed to like put in your nose to get rid of the smell. Like apparently when these people dropped down there, they had a certain smell in the air, like the air was tainted with this dead smell. So they put in the flower to get the scent of these roses to help them with their breathing. Think me bad, so? Me don't know if they're in that fridge to put them dead. Maybe they didn't have proper preservation in those days, or it was so bad that it couldn't overcome, the smell overcame the place and the people. But there you have it. So we in the Guyana, in the village, under the Kumaka tree, girl like me, I sing this thing and I dance this thing, and no say, people are drop dead. Yes, that is what the nursery rhymes did for us. We didn't know the story behind them, but now that you ask, now you know. I hope I didn't take away your little joy. They say distance lends enchantment to the view, and I just done broke your view. Sorry, not so sorry, I ask me. All right, that is the Ring a Ring of Roses. So if you want to tell your children, you can. If you don't want to tell them, you don't have to, because children get the kind of understanding and knowledge that is appropriate for their age. They interpret things different. You don't have to tell them these nasty and bad story. No, that is this. But suffice it to say that this nursery rhyme has survived all those centuries and still there in posterity. All right? Good. Now, since we're talking about all fall down, this one came to my mind, and this one kind of blew my mind. So I'm going to share this. If you hear some noise, it's my neighbor children. This is one of my favorite nursery rhymes. Jack and Jill. Yeah, no Jack and Jill? Take your time. Remember, you know all the words? How many stanzas they get? I didn't know 2 stanzas by heart. This thing got 3 stanzas according to Uncle Google. Mm. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Everybody knew that one, right? Up Jack got and home he trot as fast as he could caper. He went to bed and bound his head with vinegar and brown paper. They get that one. And then this last stanza here that I didn't know until now. Let me read it for y'all. When Jill came in, how she did grin to see Jack's paper plaster. Mother vexed, did whip her next, eh? For causing Jack's disaster. Wait. Wait, said I. This story missing something. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Well, people, when I did thinking about this thing, I said to myself, something alrighty. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. What go up hill for fetch water? Water not go for their bottom? Why you not fetch from bottom? You got to go up. Well, this thing makes sense. It makes sense. I think about gravity. This thing defy gravity. Maybe back in them day in England, I saw an English poem, not rhyme. Maybe them in a build well pant up a hill. Me no know make, but then it makes sense to me. Why you gonna build one well top of the hill? Or, you know me lie. Me been get one solar water tank at top of me at my house. A gravity feed. Gravity feed me use to get me hot water. Maybe it do. But them had to, well, me just get me water at bottom. Me not go up there to get the water. So here again, this thing that make no sense to me. It makes sense to you? All right. So they went to fetch this pail of water. In my mind, I imagine a pail is like a basin. It's like, long time the British used to sell us meat, salt, beef, and corn, beef, and so in barrel, them wooden barrel, get a metal wrap around it. Well, they used to get pail like that. So I imagine them two go up there with this pail to fetch this water. Too bad they got for all it, Or we can look at the more contemporary meaning of a pail as just a bucket. But me thinking traditional pail, basin-like, big one. To fetch this pail of water, Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Anyway, he say that Jill responsible for Jack falling down. Now he fall down first. And she came tumbling after. Them do this a ramp. Them a ramp. Them a brother and sister. This thing say, like them a sister. For some reason, they the same house. The mother be Jill. Them a brother and sister, but them a ramp. So in my little childhood mind, it's like if Jack, mother, and so send them out for do something, for run errand. And them that decide that them now go down the road when they're supposed to go, they're going to go up the hill, fetch the water, they're going to go a hillside, but they're not supposed to go. And then when them mother asks them where they've been, they say, we just been at the hill, but they're not supposed to go to the hill. That's what going to happen in the village. If your mother send you for an errand, and then we want to tell you where you've been, you say, I tell you some cockamamie story, but how you been here, and you've been over there, and you've been up a hill for fetch water, you might get a good tarring for that. Yes, because me no know hill guy, and I got climb for fetch water. Them Linden people, why you live by hills and so, yeah, water they higher top? Me no know. The only time me know you go get water higher top when we camping at them river, them creek Guyana. Creek rhetorics, creek methodology is that you don't drink at the bottom, you drink at the top. You got to go at the top end of the creek, forget you drinking water. You now get it at the bottom because you don't know who are doing what at the top. So you have to go at the top. So in some ways, this thing is a little bit contradictory, but I'm trying to bring you the various interpretations and how I'm making meaning or not of this thing as I go along. May I get it right down there? Extemporaneously, my talk. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. So we get verse 1. Up Jack got, and oh, he trot as fast as he could caper. Now, right away, I know two new words about movement, about running and moving. They said Jack trot, like a horse a trot. And I knew the word trot from the word trotters, pig feet. Yeah, because at Christmas time, then people buy trotters for make pepper pot. You see, that's how I make associations. It's a good learning technique, you must make associations, yeah? So jack trot is a way of moving, running. So, but then I was thinking, is it a fast trot or a slow trot? And then you get the thing as fast as he could caper. Now, caper is a whole different thing. Caper, you run, like that. And as fast as he could caper. So it means to me that maybe Jack got so affected that he can just do these little quick movements. But whatever it is, he went. He broke his crown, this head. Well, teacher had to tell me what the crown is because me don't know no crown. He break his head. Mm-hmm. In the village, we say he bossy head. That's what he get when he fall down hill. So he went to bed. I wanted to know if Jack mama na give him the sugar water. Jack lucky he live. You're supposed to drink the sugar water. So the story is missing something. In my mind, he went to bed and banged his head. So in the bed, he banged up his head. What you bang him with? With some piece of cloth or something. With vinegar and brown paper. This part make me laugh. Hey, you see me auntie them and me grandmother them used to get some strange remedy for things. Let me tell you, if you walk and you poke your foot on nail and so what they must do, they must get one piece of wood and they just beat the thing. They must beat them for the blood come out. Because if you not come out, you'll get tetanus. And when you get tetanus, you get lockjaw. Lockjaw means your jaw tight, son of a dead man. And then you go to yeah, lockjaw. And then when you get cold pain, somebody get poultice, flour, nutmeg, salve, grease, camphor, all kind of things they will put there and they will stick on brown paper. So maybe England, maybe England got their own tradition. Or I mean, I don't have Jack back up this thing. But anyway, he banged his head. So Jack seemed to be a very self-sufficient young man. That he can get brown paper and he can get vinegar and put it there. Well, maybe not imagine that he stick him on, but how he gonna stay on? He bung it, right? Y'all know the traditions back in the day for headache, or when you bung your head. When you get bung head, where it's called though? In the village, when you bung your head, you hit your head so. We don't say you break your crown, you get bungy, you bust your head. Sometimes your head and bleed, but you get this big old thing come up here. They call it a bungi. And bungi is what the physicians or the medical people will call a hematoma. It full up of blood. So Jack gets a big old bungi and he know what for use for that. In Guyana, where that's used for bungi, they used to put ice. And if they don't get ice, then they get hot water. And they get a little rag and they must sap it. Or they get cold water, tap water, and they sap it and they go hot and cold for the bungi. That's what I know. What y'all know? This is what the story says. I got that thing, yes? I got to help me talk the story. Mm-hmm. Well, this is what Jack did. But this part is the part that vexing me. This part where they never teach me in school. Or maybe me never learn it, but me don't know this stanza. This paper say, when Jill came in, remember she fell down to, when Jill came in, how she did grin. I can imagine Jill, when she see him, so that big old paper, yeah, yeah, with the boogie, she proper laugh. She did laugh. They said she did grin to see Jack's paper plaster. He make him up. So she laughed at poor Jack. And the mother vexed. Mother vexed. I mean, she got angry in Guyana. So she vexed. Mama vexed. And she did whip. She did whip Jill for causing Jack's disaster. Well, none part of this story na say that Jill do am nothing. Jill not do am one thing. Them two been up a hill, they say, and then they are ramp and a play and so, and then he go tumble down. And when he tumble down, she tumble down after. What makes so? Jill must get licks. She don't lick him, but she gave Jill licks for he, and said she caused the disaster. You see the story here? The story is very reminiscent of the Bible story with Adam and Eve. Let me remind y'all if y'all don't. God tell Adam and Eve, don't eat of this. He tell Adam, don't eat of this tree of good and evil. Adam say, all right. He and Eve are always together. Eve went away one day, she meet one serpent at one tree. And the serpent tells she, you can't eat. Nothing gonna do you. So she go and she pick this fruit and she eat and she give Adam for eat. He take his own eye and watch she with the fruit and open his own mouth and eat them. But God tell him not to eat them, you know. He eat them. And then when God called them at the garden, them they hide. And God call and call, and when God see them, God say, why y'all didn't come? They say, we the naked, so we the hiding. God say, who tell y'all naked? So God know right away that they do something wrong. Because they may never know them are naked. But after they eat the food, they know they're naked. So God say, Adam, why you eat the fruit? And so Adam say, are the woman will you give me? Not me, a she. A she you give me, a she give me for eat. See, same thing. Same thing. Blame the woman. You get you eye. You go take him, you eat him. Now he go up at this hill. Why you don't mean no? Fall down there. Broke up your head. Go with the little brown paper. Good fee. Good. You take care of yourself. When Jill come in, she laugh. Mama come beat Jill for say she make that happen to you. You see, same thing. Blame somebody else. Me not able this story, you know. Me not able tell. This story disappoint me. Me never think about this. But some think now. Well, they say this rhyme too, like the one before Ring a Ring a Roses, began a long, long time ago. And this one began in the 18th century. That's in the 1700s. And they don't know the exact origin of this one, but they had some theories, some ideas about what this might have been about. Well, I'm noticing something. When I look at these nursery rhymes, they seem to all point to, many of them seem to point to the follies and the encounters or disasters related to kings and queens. And they said this one was a satire on this Louis XVI, you know, that he was beheaded. Yeah. And Marie Antoinette during the French Revolution. So this is like really bad story here. You know, the Jill representing Mary and Jack representing Louis XVII. So there is no real evidence. It's just speculation that that's what it is. But a lot of these nursery rhymes seem to harken back to monarchies and these monarchs. And I begin to think, them never know that, you know. I don't know. That's a bad story with them. Who not tax people over much and all kind of thing, bad thing. And then there's another one, which I kind of like, is this story about these two young people, Jack and Jill. They had different names, Bill and something else, but they were Nordic, from the Nordic tradition. And in Nordic mythology, they had these young people who went up a hill and they were kidnapped by the moon god when they went to fetch water from the hill. Mysterious, mysterious thing. But then again, we don't know. So they said these names passed down to the British tradition and that we got, and their names came up as Jack and Jill. There is that. And then there's this other story that I like a lot. There's a story in a place called Kilmersden. And Kilmersden is a village in England. And it's the home of Jack and Jill, they say. Like they were for real, for real. And they lived there. And they say if you go there to this Jack and Jill Hill, you're going to find these tombstones that have the verses of the rhyme on it. So you will have one for Jack, one for Jill, and one for other people. And so let me tell you about the other people. Apparently, Jill lived in this village and she was a spinster, an unmarried woman. But Jill had a lover undercover. She had a man on the sly, and this man named Jack. And Jack and Jill been there together. And you know, they're there thing. And so, perhaps one day, Jill wake up and find herself in the family's way. That's what they used to call it back in the day. Find yourself in the family's way. She knocked up, she's pregnant, and she's going to be getting this baby out of wedlock. Of course, you conceive out of wedlock. Well, them data, that was a bad story if you conceive out of wedlock. So, but people, they like Jack and Jill. And so, you know, they entertain them and so. But the part that really endeared them to their love is that one day, Jack went up the hill again. You know, Jack the picnic, Jack a big man. Jack went up the hill. But wait a minute, I wonder if them was teenagers. No, spinster and a teenager. She a big man. But she should 30s, 20s, 30s about, yeah. So, Jack dust she down from the shelf. She no longer left banana, dust she down. Yeah. And Jack decided to go up the hill to fetch this water. But bad luck befell Jack. It so happened that he foot slipped on some big old boulder, dislodged the boulder, and he tumbled down, broke his head, and dead. Left poor Jill with this picnic, this picnic. Jill get the child, and the village helped her to raise the child, and they celebrated their love. Yeah. And so, as a tourist attraction, it seems that they made this Jack and Jill Hill. They commemorate it. They put the stones, and so you see, people just know for make money. They know for make money. Yeah. So even if Jack and Jill never live, them decide that this place could be the home of Jack and Jill. Even if not so. And then you can go there and you can check out them tombstone. One for Jack, one for Jill, one for the picnic, and so on. So that is the story of Jack and Jill. And went up the hill and fetched a pail of water. Yeah, I believe it. Believe it or not, it's part of our literary tradition. It's very nostalgic. And that's all I got for y'all, except Dara, handmade, check it out. And then I have my books on Amazon. Dave and the Lime Tree. This is a good one. Yeah, you can go look it up and so on. Dave and the Lime Tree, Navel's Train. Those are stories about Guyanese culture and village culture. So if you're interested in those things, please do so. And if you're interested in those kinds of conversations, contact me. I do keynote speaking, I do talks, I do conference presentations, and I talk to little kids groups and adult groups and young people. So you know where to catch me. Inbox me. I can speak to your people, and have a great week, and Yah walk you.